Hello YouTubers, welcome to Aquatic Utopia. Today's topic is backgrounds for your aquarium, specifically painting them. When I was a kid, I'd throw together an aquarium in an afternoon, and that would include taping on an ocean background or some plants or whatever. That would look great for the first week, but you get water behind it and it gets all wrinkly and nasty looking. So what I'm going to show you here is a little bit more of a professional touch to it, and some tips that I've learned along the way to really make that look as good as possible. So what we're going to do to give this a very uniform, solid background is we're going to paint it on. And we're going to paint it on specifically with an oil-based protective enamel. I've chosen Rust-Oleum. This has ended up working the best. Oil-based, sticks to the glass a little bit better. Your acrylic-based paints will eventually just kind of flake off and not look as good. So long-term acrylic-based enamel from Rust-Oleum is a great way to go. Tools for the job today: we're going to use paintbrush for the edges, and then we're going to use a roller. These are foam rollers. They are 10 centimeters, whatever that is. That's weird. We're in America. Why are there centimeters? Little roller guys like this. It's foam. It's very smooth. The reason why you want that is because you don't want the fuzzy nap roller that you would use if you were painting a wall, because when that roller comes off the glass, if you think of if you've ever gotten gum on your shoe, you see that gum kind of stretch out. Well, these are very, very tiny. That's happening with the paint if you use a nap-based roller, and then when it breaks and lands back in the glass, it kind of makes like a fuzzy, or some people call it an orange peel. This foam roller will help stop that and make it a much more even, smooth piece. So there's special foam roller rollers that you use. It goes on like that. And next is tape. Both of these are frog tape. You can see in here it says frog tape. There's another cheaper products. 3M makes painter's tape. They bleed. Frog tape, in my opinion, is the best. It won't bleed. You won't get paint behind that tape, and it'll work out the best for you. So first thing that we have to do is we have to prepare the surface. As you saw my other videos, this was in my garage, so it's dusty, it's dirty, it's nasty. So we're going to use some regular old glass cleaner to clean that off. And these mundane parts, I'll go in hyperspeed, so you'll see me. See how black it is? It's kind of nasty. And I'm going to do it again for good measure. Alright, so next we're going to use isopropanol alcohol. Steal that out of your first aid kit. And the Mrs. Facial makeup removing wipes. The reason why we're going to use alcohol is because if there's any oils or anything on that glass, we want to wipe those down and get them off. So I'm going to use the abrasive side, and I'm just going to really scrub the whole surface. Just like in Karate Kid, we're going to wax on, wax off in little round buffing circles like this. More pro tip, I'm focusing in where the plastic frame meets the glass, and I'm really giving that a good scrub there. You want the paint the adhesion to happen there as best as possible, because if water gets behind that, it's going to start to get a little gross and like just kind of, especially if you have a saltwater tank, it'll creep up behind the paint and look bubbly, and it's just terrible when that happens. It doesn't look quite as good. So you can see there's some crud still on there despite having wiped that with the Windex. So that's why we're doing it. And I'm going to go through again a fourth time and really make sure that that is clear. Putting quite a bit of alcohol on here. You can see it drip. Now this time I'm going to start from this side. And I'm still going to do those circles. Okay? Okay, and I'll give the plastic a good wipe, because I'm going to put tape on here and I want the tape to stick well. Okay. Like I said, this is frog tape, best painter's tape that's out there. I'm going to use the blue stuff because it's thicker. This is 1.5 inches. I think this is 2 inch. It'll just give me a little bit more headway so that I don't get paint all over the frame. Obviously, I'm going to turn this around when I'm done on the stand, and this will be against the wall. But I don't know, I'm picky. I don't want paint all over the frame, so I tape it off real nice. Right? And then the sides, I don't want to touch the sides, so I'm going to put tape here because I want this side totally clear. All I want is the back, nothing else but the back. So if the roller comes across, I don't want to get paint on the side that I don't want. So I'm just going to run a small strip right down the edge so that paint doesn't get on the other side. You know, this might take you a little bit longer, but taking your time and really paying attention to the details is going to give you a much better look. So spend the extra 30 seconds. Don't be in a rush. I know you're probably so excited to set up your tank that you want to fly right through, but you know, you're going to be looking at this for years. So take your time here. You know, like I said, when I was a kid, I would set up a tank in an afternoon. There'd be a plastic background behind it, but you know, I'm looking at this from a longer term perspective now, and I hurt my back. I can't be schlepping buckets of water right now, giving myself some time to heal, so just really taking my time here. And everything will end up looking nicer, and you'll be happy that you did. So, everything's prepped. We're going to do some brush work first. And use your oil-based enamel. Extremely important to use oil-based. Kids, use a screwdriver or a paint lid hook. Don't use your mom's silverware like I am. I'm too lazy to go out in the garage and actually get the right tool. So I chose royal blue. It's a deep blue color. Some people like black, some people like white. I really haven't seen too many other colors than that, but I suppose you can really do it any color that you wish. I prefer black or blue, but black especially because it hides the algae. But this tank I'm going to do is fresh water, and I'll have the added benefit of some Plecostomus that are going to eat all that algae for me, so I'm not too terribly concerned. I had shaken this up before, so we're ready to go. I am going to get some paper towels for whoopsies. And I've laid out, this is wax paper, I've laid it out on my table and I've laid it out on the stand. Don't drip and get stuff all over your stand. It'll look terrible. So I'm not going to brush the majority of this. All I'm going to brush is right up here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the roller brush has a really hard time getting in there. Okay? You're not putting on tons of paint. You're going to have to do 3, 4, maybe 5 coats for this to look its best. So I'm just making sure that I get up under that ledge with the brush. You want to go thick enough so that it's nice and uniform, but you don't want it to drip when you're done. Okay, so I got that entire edge, and I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to drag across, because this will leave some lines, but I just want those lines nice and even straight across. And I'm going to repeat, do the same thing at the bottom. Alright, kids, if you're using your dad's tools, please rinse the brushes. If you don't rinse the brushes, it'll be garbage. Brushes aren't cheap. Do your dad a favor, rinse his tools off, treat them like yours. I'm going to put this in a sandwich bag so that it stays wet, because I'm going to have to come through and do this again. Here's my sandwich bag. I just put it straight down into the bottom of the bag and close it up into the corner and push the air out of it. And that'll be fine for like a day. I'm probably going to be doing this every couple of hours after it dries. So I don't want to keep rinsing it. Especially oil-based paint is a nightmare. You got to rinse forever. You're going to have to use a thinner or something to clean your stuff. That said, this is probably going to be sacrificial Tupperware that won't be any good because it's so hard to get the paint out of it. I might end up tossing this. Obviously, a little paint roller pan might be a better way to go, but this is just what I had laying around. So take your paint, carefully pour it in. You're not going to need a ton. And then wipe the lid so you don't get drips everywhere. And be very careful. This is better off done in a garage. But we got other stuff in the garage because it seems like we're always doing something in my house. And I'm too lazy to carry this heavy thing out of here. Okay, so coat the entire roller so that it rolls all the way across through the paint. I don't know if you can see, I'm just rolling it so that it goes totally around the entire thing. Okay? And being very careful not to drip. And I'm going to go up and down this coat. I'll go side to side on the second coat. I'm not going very thick. I'll show you when I'm done. You can see through some of the areas where it rolled. I'm just trying to get a very even spread across. As I go through with multiple coats, all those see-through little dots will be covered up and it'll look much better. This is a multi-coat process. It's not a one and done. Alright, so I went up and down on this coat. The second coat, I'm going to go side to side. You want the coats to mesh in between each other so you get a very thick uniform coverage across the whole thing. I'm going to let this dry maybe an hour and then I'll do the second coat. While I'm doing that, I don't want to have to keep cleaning this. I'm just going to put saran wrap around it and put this guy in a sandwich bag as well. That way nothing will dry out and it'll be ready for your use when you go through to the next coat. Okay, I had done 4 coats. I went up and down the aquarium and side to side 4 times. You can see it's relatively uniform all the way across. And from the inside, if you shine a light in the back, you can see my bright flashlight, you can't see through it anywhere. There's no light coming through. So that told me that I was done and that I got enough coats on it. Now it's time to remove the tape and turn the tank around. Alright, one other ultimate pro tip I wanted to tell you guys about before I turned it over. I caulked along the edge where the frame and the glass meet, because it's inevitable, you know, when you're working on your filters or doing water changes or whatever, you're going to dribble a little bit of water underneath there. And what you really don't want is the water creeping underneath the paint, because it'll kind of like, it'll migrate up and look like bubbly and nasty. So seal that off. It'll make this last way longer than if you didn't do anything. So you know, that's a 2-second hack that'll make it last much longer for you. Alright, all done. Totally painted. Got a light on it. It's obviously undersized, but it's just one that I had laying around I quick grabbed. And you can see, hopefully through the dirty yucky glass, that it's a nice uniform blue color. You know, no wrinkles, no texture or anything, just a nice blue. I see a lot of folks, and I've done black backgrounds in my past, but we were trying to match the blue fixtures that we have in the kitchen. And now kind of match the aquarium a little bit. So that's it. Permanent background. It'll look really nice for a long time to come.